Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in Missouri. And we're actually in a division. I know, it doesn't happen very often. And the person I'm divisioned with is none other than Mod Squad Rin. One of my friends, long time, but we don't get to play together very often. And yeah, it was just a good night. So this is one of the matches that we had, obviously, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I wish I'd have just went live yesterday. I ended up playing Legends yesterday for, I don't know, 4 to 6 hours. I don't do that very often. I can't usually stand to play Legends for longer than a couple of hours, because it just drives you crazy. But as you can see, spawning in, 2 of our 3 destroyers are not even playing the game yet. Oh, never mind. They woke up. About time. Why is it always destroyer players? It's always destroyer players. It's like they know that they're like the last person that's going to get spotted other than a carrier. So they're like, I'll just go make a sandwich. And then they just like always show up late. I don't get it. But anyway, we're in the Missouri. Missouri, of course, being the OG steel ship that is available at a discount, or at least was discounted. When I bought this ship, I paid 30,000 steel for the thing, and I've never regretted it. Ever. This is a fantastic ship. Not only is it an Iowa class that you know and love, but it is an absolute beast. It has the radar that is insane. It has the really, really nasty AP of an Iowa that has the original Iowa AP shell damage. It's not a huge change, but it is a noticeable difference and does make a difference when it matters. As we just slapped that Nebraska for half his hit points. First shot out to 20. Oh my god. Iowa, you turd! How dare you sit there bow into me? Okay, well, yeah. Now that we know what's going on, we're going to try and get the rear turret over the island. And then use the front guns to shoot at the Constellation through the gap. Now, unfortunately, we're going to be behind the island. I don't get a chance to shoot at the Z-31, but Rin does. And we do Citadel the Constellation, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know what it is about Mighty Mo in this game. I know, it, as far as I know, it doesn't have any difference in terms of accuracy than, say, Iowa. I know New Jersey is technically slightly more accurate than Iowa and Missouri, but from what I feel when playing the ship, Missouri has always been just better. I don't know how to explain it, but we lose our Benson to the Z-31, which I think is absurd. Like, dude didn't even get, like, 10k health off that Z, which is really, really unfortunate. Now, right now, what me and Ren are talking about is the fact that the destroyer is going to get the cap, and so I'm like, well, I could radar. I'm pretty confident they're in radar range. I was wrong. I should have been paying attention. I can radar for you if you can get a shot on them. And that's when I realized that I screwed up. Because not only do I radar, but I don't get them spotted yet. Now, this is going to force me into a position that is not necessarily ideal. But I got to give a shout out to the guys behind me. There are 2 battleships behind me, and these 2 battleships are going to be instrumental in this match. But as we try to push around to get rid of this Z-31, you can see I've got him lit up. Unfortunately, we're not able to get rid of him with Rin and our other teammates. I take a shot trying to get it over the island. We hit the island. We do get the hit, but unfortunately he has already captured the base, which is, again, unfortunate. But as we push in, we know that there's a Tirpitz on our right, which is not ideal. But this Tirpitz is making a huge mistake. As he's pushing out, he's given himself, oh my god, hello Iowa, you and I have some unfinished business, you little turd waffle. If you're going to sit there broadside, I'm going to slap the shit out of you. As you can see just how consistently, like, nasty these BPR from this ship. Like, it is consistently accurate, and it slaps, man. It really, really slaps. But right now, I'm trying to do my best. You can see people creeping from the left. Z-31 goes down, which is huge. But as we try to get a shot here on the Iowa, pay attention to the B-cap. You see those guys coming around? Now, I thought I was angled enough that he wouldn't be able to go through the cheek. But that's just a good shot by the Iowa. Knowing to not shoot at the belt, taking what the enemy gives you, right? We talk about it all the time. You take what the enemy gives you. But there we get him to shoot the belt, finally. And there is the end of his game, because we're just going to go straight through the cheek. You can see I aimed a little bit higher than I probably should have there, but the shells ended up derping down low, which is why I tend to aim high anyway. Because if you derp those shells into the water right there, I die, right? Like, that's just how that works. You can't afford to miss that shot. And I don't necessarily need citadels to kill there. But Tirpitz goes to torp the other guy. The Constellation blapped my broadside. We're going to leave the Tirpitz alone. But this push that we make right here between me and these other two battleships could have ended very, very badly. But you can see our battleship there dodging the torpedoes from the Tirpitz at close range. Fantastic job there. I think it's Flounder. But we're going to push into the cap. We're going to try to get the B cap. And this is where all the things matter, right? Every decision that our team makes from here on out is going to translate directly to either winning or losing the match. Now, between our two battleships, you can see that they have put themselves in a position where they're a little bit out of position, right? Flounder didn't really have a choice. He was being torpedoed. He had to do what he had to do. But the other battleship back there is kind of a long ways away. So it's going to be up to me to really do everything I can. Now, I have one radar left, right? You can see there is the Tarigo here just ahead of me, and I'm about to be loaded. We're going to use auto-aim and adjust it slightly ahead and try to take out this Tarigo, which is going to be absolutely massive for the team. Getting rid of one of the two destroyers is huge, because if we have to deal with two destroyers, the odds that we win this is slim and none. That cruiser needs to stay alive. We don't want him getting himself killed. But you can see these deep water torpedoes of the Kurosami. Yeah, not ideal. I did not think he was there, and sure enough, he is. But rather than shoot the destroyer here, I actually go for the cruiser. Probably not the best choice, because I could probably see the cruiser at any given moment. A lot better than I can. Oh my god, there's a freaking battleship over there hiding behind the islands. But I can likely see the cruiser at any time compared to the radar against the destroyer. I was hoping to get some help from the cruiser on that destroyer, but nobody ends up shooting the destroyer. And destroyer gets away. Now, I do take a shot here at the destroyer. I'm trying to angle away from the battleship. But we lose our Bayard. I do actually hit and defend the cap from the destroyer. And right now, I know that there's probably deep water torpedoes on the way. We're going to go ahead and hurry up, use our last heal. We're going to reverse to try to angle and get around this island to try to protect us from those torpedoes. But the other thing is we got to get this cap. But notice one of the battleships comes in. I believe it's the Flounder. The other battleship goes around. And what that battleship ends up doing is capturing the freaking bases. He's an absolute legend, and he ends up being instrumental in winning this match. Now, the other thing that's instrumental in winning this match is positioning. This is a very close game. Every decision you make from here on out determines whether you win or lose. So making smart decisions in the moment, little things like using the island to scrape off torpedoes. He can't torp through the island, right? So the way to get away from the torpedoes is to use the island. And, shocker, torpedoes. Who'd have seen that coming? But you can see our battleship has lost a decent chunk of his health as well. But as we try to push around, we're going to let him take the lead because he's got more hit points. We've got our damage control available, if necessary. Our other battleship is taking Delta. The enemy team has the lead right now because they have all the caps. So we have to do a better job of trying to get rid of ships. And with the Veneto getting spotted here, I have no idea what on earth makes this Veneto turn and bow tank right now, but it's really annoying because I was hoping to get these through the side, but we ended up aiming high enough that we get one shell to do a little bit of damage to the superstructure. But Flounder is kind of sailing broadside here, but he is dodging torps. So at least we got that. But he is going to take some damage from this Veneto if he's just going to sit in a broadside. What the Veneto doesn't realize is that as he pushes towards our Flounder, he's actually walking into a crossfire. And this is where we step up to the plate and we slap this man for everything that he's got left. Not the best aimed shot in the world, but it was significant as we hit him with 6 shells and take everything he has. But of course, we leave him with just enough for somebody else to take. But we are going to get loaded in 10 seconds, so if he stays alive just a little bit longer, we should be able to easily finish him off. And you can see both of our battleships are taking shots at him. The Flounder secondaries, being small, aren't really going to do much of anything. But we take a shot at the superstructure, finish him off. And now, the Flounder and I are both in the Alpha Cap, denying points there. We get the 100-point swing of killing the battleship, and the Kurosami shows himself. But before I can get loaded, like he's already smoking up and disappearing. But here's the main thing. Because we're on both sides of the cap, he can't really go anywhere except out of the cap. Like, he can't just run around the cap. So we're going to be able to start to capture this base. And you can see, initially, while I'm spotted, I am staying broadside. Why is that? Because I want him to launch his torpedoes at me going away from the base, and then I wanted to turn in. But you can see, I do end up turning into the cap. Our other battleship, which I believe is a Delaware or one of the hybrids, captured Delta. He's currently capturing Charlie. We have the points lead, and now the enemy is no longer accruing points because we are denying all of their caps. This is massive, and I cannot understate how important it was for that other battleship to screw off and not do damage and go for the caps. If he hadn't, we probably lose this match because this little turd's going to run away. We already know that. Now, here's where the Flounder and I get on a little bit of a misstep, okay? That Flounder needs to go to the right here, okay? I've talked about this before. How do you hem in a destroyer like this? You've got to cut off his avenues of escape. The Flounder beelines it directly towards the destroyer, but the destroyer has plenty of room to bail out to the right, and that's exactly what he's going to do. You cannot let the destroyer get away in this situation. If he goes to the right, I'm on the left. That destroyer can't go anywhere. He's stuck between us. And that's one of the things that's going to come back and potentially bite us, is that the destroyer is going to just kind of squirt out to the right side of the map. So if you ever find yourself in this situation and you got 2 ships chasing down a destroyer, I don't have any more radars. We don't have any way to spot the destroyer. So if you find yourself in this situation, cut off their escape routes. Force them into the corner of the map. He's chasing to the corner, which is not the right, and now you can see he starts to turn to the right, but it's too little too late. The guy's already behind him. And so you can see, I'm hoping that the destroyer's stupid and going towards the center, going towards the thing, but you can see that my guns are pointing towards the right. I don't feel like the destroyer is, because he'd be getting ready to be spotted any moment. So watch this next set of torpedoes and where it comes from, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. If he had made a right turn earlier, he would have been cutting off the escape route of that destroyer, and then that forces the destroyer in between the two of us, and then that leads to us winning this match by killing the destroyer. Instead, we end up sitting here for 5 minutes waiting for this destroyer to be a coward. And of course, I call out to Ren. I was like, you know this destroyer is going, you can see I'm already like waiting. I know the torpedo, and there's the torps showing up off my bow as they're behind him. I was like, man, we missed our opportunity to get rid of this guy. But I told Red, I was like, I know this destroyer is going to fire his guns at like 3 seconds left. You can feel it, right? Like any of these destroyers that just take off running like this, they do the same thing every time, right? You can see the other battleships in the same mindset, like firing his guns over this way. I held my fire because you never know. He might fire his guns a little bit earlier, and I want a chance to shoot him if that's the case. But he's actually going to pop up much further south than I expected. He's going to be closer to our other battleship as he fires his guns. But watch when the guy fires his guns. We got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and at 6 seconds he fires his gun. I was 3 seconds off. I thought he'd wait till 3 seconds, but we get the guns on target, we fire, but the game ends before we do. But still, a really fun game, down to the wire. I love those games. I love those games. Win or lose, I love those types of games. But 3,500 base XP with 4 kills, top of the leaderboard. And, you know, just a great showing by Flaunder and Nebraska, paying attention to what's going on, pushing when we have the advantage, and clawing a victory back from the jaws of defeat. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Did you enjoy this one? And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.